The Alabama Farmers Federation and the Alabama Farmers Cooperative proudly present Simply Southern with your hosts Jim Allen and Mary Johnson.
Good morning and welcome to Simply Southern. I'm Jim Allen.
And I'm Mary Johnson. We've all heard of cotton farms or cattle farms, but a syrup farm? This morning on Simply Southern, we'll take you to a place where they grow the cane, squeeze it, and turn that juice into syrup, just like your great-granddaddy did.
And whether you live on a farm or not, safety is always important. Young farmers in Crenshaw County are showing teens that you can never be too careful, whether around farm equipment or tools you might find in your garage. Plus, Sidney Phelps is talking about conservation this week. Whether water or soil, it's important to be a good steward of our natural resources.
But to get us started today, we'll meet a real North Alabama cowboy who spends his days shoeing horses and his nights strumming country tunes. Simply Southern continues in a moment.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
The blessing of Alabama agriculture is more than 3 meals a day. It means independence from foreign nations, freedom to pursue other jobs and activities, conservation of natural resources, and preservation of family values. For 93 years, the Alabama Farmers Federation has brought together the men and women whose work fills our plates and fuels the American dream.
For nearly 50 years, the electric cooperatives of Alabama have been giving young people an opportunity to visit our nation's capital, where they learn about the value of electric cooperatives and the importance of grassroots advocacy. Top students join with thousands of others touring monuments, landmarks, and meeting with their congressional delegation. The Rural Electric Youth Tour program. Just one more way the electric cooperatives of Alabama are investing in the future of our state.
When AJ was born with a heart defect, we practically lived at the hospital. We weren't prepared for that. My Alpha customers, my Alpha family made sure we had everything we needed. Now I'm even more motivated to help take care of them. Who I am fits what I do. I am Alpha.
For the best agents in the business, call Alpha.
There isn't much to see in the small town of Atwood in North Alabama, but the church pews and forested riding trails of that Franklin County community led one local man to dual careers as a musician and farrier. Joseph Baldwin said everyday experiences while shoeing horses provide inspiration for his music, and it's led to some high accolades.
Horseback riding is anything but a pastime in Franklin County, Alabama, and native son Joseph Baldwin has made a career out of caring for equine feet. He's loved the majestic creatures since he was young.
Every time I made enough money mowing yards or hauling hay, I'd buy a horse. And I wound up with probably a dozen in a very short period of time. So their feet needed trimming.
After paying a horseshoer for the first time, a teenage Baldwin discovered he could save money if he learned the farrier craft himself. His mom helped purchase the necessary tools.
I still to this day in my truck have some of the tools that she bought me 25 years ago. But I started doing my own, and I kept the tools and stuff in my saddlebags when we would ride horses around here. And if somebody lost a shoe, I would put it on.
The horseshoeing process is rather simple, if the horse is already good-tempered.
Are you taking notes? Because you're doing the back feet. If they have shoes on, you remove those shoes and trim the foot for the new shoe. And then the most time-consuming thing is bending shoes. That takes up the most time, and then just nail them back on.
Aside from horses, Baldwin has always had a passion for music. He learned to play the piano while watching his mom play at church, but quickly moved to the guitar after some ribbing from classmates.
All guys want to learn how to play guitar when they're young, and I had some friends that were already doing it, and it was kind of easy to learn because I had took piano lessons, so it helps out.
Baldwin performs more than 150 shows a year. His covers range from country cowboys Waylon Jennings and Dwight Yoakam to pop superstars Michael Jackson.
Billie Jean is not my lover, just a girl who thinks I am the one.
And even Lady Gaga.
You're beautiful in your way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. You're on the right track, baby, you were born this way.
But it's his original music that earned him the top prize in the Alabama Department of Tourism's Year of the Songwriter contest.
I thought everybody's going to write songs in just standard chords, standard tempo, and I wanted my music to stand out. So I actually wrote the music first.
His song, I'm Alabama, is an ode to all things Alabama, from the longleaf pine and the yellow hammer to sweet corn and southern hospitality.
Yes, I am the heart of Dixie, and if this is your first time to meet me, then welcome. I'm Alabama.
I've just been very lucky and blessed to have done it, and thankful that my wife asked me to enter the contest, so no more than that. You know, I've been here all my life, and I think I do represent. It's because I grew up on a farm, you know, and I hunt, and we farmed and all that kind of stuff all my life, so that's Alabama represent right there.
While one job involves swinging a hammer and the other involves strumming guitar strings, Baldwin has found similarities between the two.
A horse's feet is its life. Like me with music would be my hands, but a horse, you know, without one foot, you know, you're not riding it, so you got to keep them healthy.
So whether he's shoeing horses or singing about the best Alabama has to offer, Baldwin says his careers are a perfect fit.
I couldn't do an office job very well. I don't like being inside. Not saying that I wouldn't or couldn't, it would just kill me because I just like being new places and meeting new folks.
I'm Alabama. Y'all come on back now, you hear?
Now, if you liked what you heard, you can find out about Joseph Baldwin's upcoming performances by liking his Facebook page. That's at Joseph Baldwin Music.
You know, back when they were dating, his wife said that he would joke that they'd have to get married during the week because he was booked all weekend, every weekend. And they ended up getting married on a Tuesday.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so he actually was booked up that whole time.
Right.
And now she's his manager, so she's the boss.
How about that? After the break, teams and tools have the potential to be a dangerous combination, but a group of Central Alabama farmers is stressing safety to young people, regardless of whether they live on a farm or in town.
Alabama soybean farmers help fuel the state's economy. Soybeans are used to make clean, renewable biodiesel and are a key ingredient in feed for poultry, catfish, and livestock. Soybeans are used in dozens of products we use every day. But best of all, soybean farmers generate $258 million and more than 4,000 jobs for Alabama's economy, all while helping conserve our natural resources. Explore the power of soy.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed. Because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
Alabama wheat and feed grain farmers grow food, fuel, and freedom. Their harvest helps feed Alabama's multi-million-dollar livestock, catfish, and poultry industries while reducing America's dependence on foreign countries for energy and food. By combining their strength with farmers of other commodities, feed grain growers are fueling the economic growth of Alabama communities.
We all learn best from experience, but some experiences are best avoided. There are potential dangers all around us, but even more if you live on a farm. As Samantha Carpenter tells us, one group in Crenshaw County is hoping to introduce youngsters to these possible hazards so they can avoid any future painful reminders.
Life in the country has its advantages. The perception of quiet, easy days in open spaces may be the envy of a city kid, but for children, this rustic charm is not without risk. Agriculture is a driving force in Crenshaw County's economy. While many of these kids may not live on a farm, it's likely they'll eventually come in contact with the many tools, equipment, and animals found there. With this in mind, the young farmers of Crenshaw County are doing their part to keep farming safe.
Oh, she didn't quite make it.
This is our first annual Farm Safety Day. We have about 200 kids here from all 4 schools in Crenshaw County. We have it set up with 6 mini stations for the kids to go through in groups. They will get to see livestock safety and horse safety, pesticide safety, ATV safety. We also have our first responders, which include the life flight helicopter, the EMS, and the paramedics.
Controlled burning demonstrations, animal education, and even illustrating the do's and don'ts of equipment as common as a weed eater offer these children an interactive educational experience more likely to stay with them than books and lectures. And it's also more fun.
The theme of the day, in case you're wondering why I'm dressed like this, is clowning's for the circus, not on the farm. So we had some of our participants dressed up as clowns and showed those clowns getting into mock or demonstrations hurts from failure to pay attention. And we just want to demonstrate things not to do on the farm and around heavy equipment. So we're glad to be part of it.
Judging from reactions of children we spoke with at the event, Crenshaw's Farm Safety Day is clearly making an impression.
I do this type of stuff in everyday life. I'm from the country, most of us are, and we usually do all this stuff. So it was good for me to know more about that so I can spread to others in my family and friends about what I learned, and so they can take it safer in their hands and learn how to do it more safely.
Come to my house, my grass needs some cutting.
Organizers say it's important for students to learn about farm safety, but the teachers say they're learning as well.
I think one of the biggest things, we had kids that ride ATVs and flip-flops, and I learned some things to do with my own children and, how to store fertilizer and what to do with wildfires and things like that. So I think that they'll be able to take a lot of this with them for years to come.
I think we've had a really big turnout. We have a great amount of sponsors and community involvement, and everybody that's came has really been pleased with it. We all kind of knew somebody personally that had been involved in a farm accident, whether, mild or major, and so it was something that we really wanted, to hit on. There are a lot of kids that never really experience any of this hands-on, and so, our kind of ongoing thing has been if we could even save just one kid, from losing their life or a terrible injury, it would be worth it.
For Simply Southern, I'm Samantha Carpenter.
Crenshaw County's first Farm Safety Day was such a success, planning is already underway for next year's event.
And something new that they have now, they have skin analyzers for these safety events that can look at spots and tell you if you need to go and have those looked at further by a specialist.
Farmers are outside so much. Skin safety is just really, really important.
It is, and something that's easily overlooked sometimes. Now, when Simply Southern continues, they've been raising cane in South Alabama for nearly 200 years. So the Todd family knows that success can sometimes be sticky, but it's always sweet.
Brought to you by the Alabama Beef Checkoff Program. Fire up the grills. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Alabama wheat and feed grain farmers grow food, fuel, and freedom. Their harvest helps feed Alabama's multi-million-dollar livestock, catfish, and poultry industries while reducing America's dependence on foreign countries for energy and food. By combining their strength with farmers of other commodities, feed grain growers are fueling the economic growth of Alabama communities.
Today's farming operation is more complex than ever before, with precision agriculture becoming an integral piece to farm management. AccuField provides precision agriculture technologies and site-specific management capabilities in a simplified and interactive format, helping you put all the pieces of the farming puzzle together. For more information, visit us at www.accufield.com.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
Alabama soybean farmers help fuel the state's economy. Soybeans are used to make clean, renewable biodiesel and are a key ingredient in feed for poultry, catfish, and livestock. Soybeans are used in dozens of products we use every day. But best of all, soybean farmers generate $258 million and more than 4,000 jobs for Alabama's economy, all while helping conserve our natural resources. Explore the power of soy.
Joe Todd has led quite a life. His law enforcement career ranged from police officer to prison warden, but in his retirement, he's going back to his roots. As Kevin Worthington tells us, Mr. Todd has revived a tradition that goes back several generations in his family and almost 200 years.
Todd Syrup Farm can trace its roots in America to the 1700s. The family's ancestors were some of the first pioneers who settled in South Alabama in the early 1800s. Joe Todd bought the small farm after a career in law enforcement because he wanted to bring back the old-timey tradition of cane syrup production that was passed down through his family for generations.
So the first year I planted some sugar cane because nobody was making syrup anymore, and I wanted some good homemade syrup. So we made 3 cookings that fall, and I took an old piece of barn tin with an old paintbrush and wrote cane syrup, drew an arrow and says, come up Hall Road a half a mile off Cottonwood Highway, I got cane syrup. Well, we sold out in 3 days.
Dewey Todd, Joe's son and the 6th generation Todd syrup maker, says the passion for preserving the old way of life extends into every part of the syrup farm experience. During World War II, hundreds of cane mills around the country were converted to support wartime demand overseas. But after the war ended, cane manufacturing almost ceased to exist as factories failed to convert back to syrup making.
We've got 45 antique cane mills that we've collected ourselves, but we have 2 working models that were both made around 1925, 1926, and we have to keep repairing them. We have to make our own skimmers, we have to make our own stripping tools or buy antique ones, because now the only thing you can get in this country is if you import it from China. But we like to do everything the old-fashioned way, just like my grandparents and great-grandparents did.
One of the interesting things about Todd Syrup Farm is that their finished product is cooked, bottled, and sold just steps away from where it's grown.
You know, a lot of the key to good syrup is the field, the cultivation, doing everything right out there. Keeping the weeds down, we do it with a hoe, we don't use chemicals because chemicals affect the taste of the soil and it goes right into the syrup. So we make sure that all that's done right, and in the fall we start the stripping, the topping, cutting it, loading it, bringing it to the mill. We push the juice out and we cook it down always to perfection.
In a testament to their pioneering roots, the Todds have created and modified machinery to help streamline the syrup making process. They bottle and sell 5 different types of syrups and sell jams, jellies, t-shirts, even syrup-infused barbecue sauce through a retail store. And they continue to expand.
There was so much demand in the area for fresh foods, healthy foods, more restaurants. And so we got together as a family and said, for the 3 generations that are here now, generations 5, 6, and 7, we wanted to grow the business to something larger and add a restaurant, a bakery, a coffee shop, and a store. We're very proud of what we've accomplished as a family. We appreciate the graciousness of the USDA, the state of Alabama, Henry County, and all the local folks in the Wiregrass region. And now with the restaurant, we just hope folks will come out and try some Todd syrup in a country environment and get to know our family a little better.
For Simply Southern, I'm Kevin Worthington.
At 80 years old, Mr. Todd said he has no plans to retire, and he actually has plans to expand the farm to include a retirement village, an RV park, a petting zoo, and hosting the National Fig Festival and Scottish Games.
He's amazing. When you go down there, if you ask them how to properly sop syrup with a biscuit, they'll show you.
I didn't know that there was a particular way to do that.
According to them, there's only one way.
Okay.
When we return, conservation is on the mind of Sidney Phelps from Bonnie Plants. He's talking with an expert about how farmers and gardeners can be good stewards of our natural resources.
As an alpha agent, I know we start out protecting ourselves and the things that we cherish, but I just recently got engaged, and let me tell you, life is coming fast. So we want to protect the people we love. I can't wait to see what life brings. Alpha Insurance is for wherever you are in life, and for what's next.
For the best agents in the business, call Alpha.
What one thing can you say about your local quality co-op store? You can trust us. You get what you need for your farm, for your lawn and garden, and the safest products for your pets. We're locally owned and operated, and you can trust that we care about our community and the people in it. So if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, the Quality Co-op Store has exactly what you need to get the job done. All this plus friendly, knowledgeable advice. Your Quality Co-op Store. There's one near you.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed. Because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Hey folks, Sidney Phelps with Bonnie Plants. Today we're visiting with people at the Natural Resource Conservation Services here in Moultrie, Georgia. Now, you can see we've got raised beds all over, we've got great vegetables growing, but there's a lot of things that people really need to know about when it comes to conservation, like water, like soil. What are the best things to use? And to help me today, I've got Mr. Randy Odom here. Randy, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Give us some examples that people can use in their everyday lifestyles or backyard gardening to help conserve resources like water.
Well, there's several different things you can use. We have used vermiculite in the past with some peat moss and some Miracle-Gro soils and some potting soil mixed in together. What you see today in these boxes is actually a composted gin trash from over in Lenox, Georgia. This is the only medium that we've used. We planted these plants in August, the 1st of August of this year, and we brought them out here to Expo this week. And we have fertilized them one time, and that's all we've done to them.
So one fertilization on gin trash, and you've got this great, you've got good colors, vibrant greens, and the harvest is coming off great. Now, gin trash is an interesting medium.
Right.
You know, most people, when they're ginning the cotton, this is what's left over after they get that fresh bale of cotton. You're ending up with basically the waste, and you're putting it to good use. Now, a lot of people use hay bale gardens, regular potting soil, raised beds. But when it comes to soil, let's go the traditional route, going right into the ground and soil samples. That's something that I tell people a lot of the times they really need to do a soil sample and a soil test. And why is that? Give us a good reason why people should be doing that.
Well, if you don't do it, you're planting in the dark. You really have no idea what you have there, what kind of nutrients you have, how your plants are going to turn out. And if you start with the wrong nutrients, you'll never wind up with a vibrant plant like this.
Okay. Well, doing that sample, you're going to get the right amendments. What are some things that they can be using to help, further along, like calcium and all those type things in their soil, or even with raised beds with using potting mix? What are some good additives that they can put in?
Well, you can use commercial fertilizers that's typically used, like 5-10-10, 10-10-10, different things like that, or there are some organic approved fertilizers that they use, like fish oil and different things like that. So it just depends on whether you want to be an organic farm
or whether you want to be a traditional farm.
Okay. Now, one thing I've noticed here throughout the booth, you've got the raised bed set up, you've got the conservation. Tell us a little bit about your water conservation system over here with the rain barrel. How is that working in?
Well, what we're actually showing there is a solar-powered pump. We have done some small gardenings where the guys want to be self-sufficient. We went with solar-powered pumps instead of a traditional electrical pumps. And then also in remote areas, we're using solar power on our pumps to irrigate these raised beds. Okay. We're not actually demonstrating today the drip system that we utilize with these high tunnels that we're using here, but we do use like a drip tape through these gardens.
Well, Randy, I appreciate it. We got a lot of information today. You can find out more of this information through the Extension's website, or you can even go to bonnieplants.com or the mobile app, Homegrown with Bonnie Plants. And you can find out a ton of information using solar to help your pumps when you're watering. If you're using drip irrigation, that's a great way to go. But thanks again, and we'll see you soon.
You know, farmers are really the original stewards of the land because they make their living off the land, so it pays for them to make sure it's taken care of.
It pays for all of us to conserve our natural resources.
That's absolutely right.
To learn more about making your garden environmentally friendly, as well as growing tips, visit bonnieplants.com. For information on this week's other featured stories, check out their websites. If you need your horse shod or looking for some good entertainment, visit the Joseph Baldwin music page on Facebook.
For more information on farm safety, visit alphafarmers.org. You can also email Brad Cox, the director of that program, at bcox@alphafarmers.org. And the Todd family would love for you to visit their farm to learn about syrup making, or to visit their restaurant and sample their products, maybe even buy some to take home with you. You'll find them online at toddfarms.com.
Check out the Simply Southern Facebook page to stay up to date with news of upcoming shows and stories we're working on. And to view previous shows, visit our website at simplysouthern.tv.net. Next Sunday morning will be a treat for Auburn fans as we feature tigers and eagles.
That's right. We'll visit a retirement village of sorts for tigers in North Alabama and a rehabilitation center for eagles and other birds of prey at Auburn University. Thanks for watching Simply Southern this week. I'm Mary Johnson.
And I'm Jim Allen. We hope you'll join us again next Sunday morning.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.